Coaches need to know the concepts and methods of psychotherapy. They inevitably step into the world of doing psychotherapy if they are doing good coaching. I fully agree with him. That is also, I have some 35 years of experience as a coach, and the major contribution to what I call my successful career is my clinical knowledge. And Richard can bring the basics of that clinical knowledge in an easy to understand way so that you can apply it, and it will support, and not only support, but it will enhance your career. I'm absolutely sure about that.
Okay. A final question we didn't prepare. What's your connection with jazz and Richard?
That's a very nice question. And I come to your question with my answer, but I'll first might make a sidestep. I'm reading a book by Randy Weston on the origins of jazz, and what he says is that our culture, our Western culture, comes from Africa. Funny example, the old Egyptians 3000 years ago, they knew that if you had an open wound, you had to put bread that was beschimeld on that wound. And it's in, what was it, 1943 or something, that Alexander Fleming got the Nobel Prize for penicillin, which the Egyptians already knew 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago then. And so many things come from Africa, especially our complete music history, modern music history. And jazz would never be possible without Western instruments. The rhythms and the way of looking at life come from Africa, and we need the instruments and the musical theory of Europe to bring it to something that is completely new. And I think that is this fascination from integration and putting things together that at first sight have nothing to do with each other, all of a sudden brings something new and spectacular. And in that respect, I think that bringing together psychotherapy and coaching, which to me is absolutely obvious, has a background in playing jazz. And what on top of that is important, that is that when you work as a coach, when you work as a therapist, you know more or less where you're going. And then it depends on the audience, and it depends on your co-players which way you're going. In that respect, you cannot make mistakes. You see what you do, and then you react to it, and you integrate it. And that brings us back to Richard's label, which is integrative psychotherapy. And I could go on for a long time with this. Maybe one more thing that is fascinating and that brings Richard and me together through jazz is that excellent jazz players always bring new talent to a new height. They help them to be better in their job. And that's one of the other qualities that certainly Richard has.